All that shit I went through, it was worth it. Worth it. You can't grab the chest, obviously, but you could stuff some gold coins and necklaces and shit into your wetsuit. You'd be able to do it quite easily. Take some of them riches home, Nancy. You deserve it. You deserve all the riches after dealing with bullshit golf carts and bullshit monkeys. Fucking garbage. Okay. So we have the treasure. I think we're supposed to contact the kidnappers somehow now. I think there's going to be like a note waiting for us at the resort, if I remember correctly.
Nancy, you're here.
Yeah.
Bess just showed up on the porch.
We know you have the treasure. Go immediately to Sangre Beach and give it to the man staying there, then return to the resort. We will get the treasure from him. Do not wait for us. Do not try to watch the beach and come alone. Do this and you will receive directions to the location of your friend. Disobey and your friend will pay the consequences.
Good news is I found the treasure. It's a map.
Yes! I knew you could do it. I knew it. So what's the bad news?
I'm gonna have to deliver it to Johnny by myself.
But...
Look, I still don't know if this guy's in on the kidnapping or not, but even if he's not, we could blow everything if you contradict these instructions and drive out there with me.
Or you could die.
No, listen. I could sneak ahead of you and hide.
George, I'm not going to risk Bess's life over some map.
It's a map to El Dorado.
Me to just sit here. I have to go.
The kidnapper's Nathan Drake. He's just there with Sully on his boat, grabbing that shit.
I couldn't deal with that, Nancy. I just couldn't.
George, I'm going to go, and when I come back, Bess will be with me.
Or you'll be dead.
I promise.
Or you'll be dead. Or you'll be dead. Okay, so yeah, this is like the last 20 minutes of the game. We drive out to Sangre Beach and see what Johnny Rolle has to... Is it Roll or Rolle? I could... Doesn't matter. Let's see what he has to deal with it. Should I show the last Easter egg before? Why don't I do that? Let's extend this video a little bit more. So while I was looking up what medallion or which one of the dials I missed, I actually figured out how to get the last Easter egg that is given to us by that message in a bottle. And for those of you who want to get it, I guess, here's what you do. So we're going to go to, I can't remember what the name of the reef is called, but Shipwreck Reef or whatever. The first reef we went to in the game where the ship is. This one here. So come in here. Don't hit those rocks. Dive in. The note here says...
Not the right time or place for that.
It's definitely the right time or place for it. I think I wrote it down. Deep in the sand, before the sharks, seek this. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to swim all the way out as fast as you can, as far as you can, until you hit the sharks.
I'd better not get any closer to those sharks. Whoa, sharks. I should probably keep my distance. Whoa, sharks. I should probably keep my distance.
Should be somewhere along here.
Whoa, sharks. I should probably keep my distance. Oops, don't want to go bugging those sharks. I'd better not get any closer to those sharks.
Maybe this is where it's at. Yeah, here we go. And here's your second Easter egg of the game. It's just in that pile of sand right below the sharks. I don't think you can look there, though, unless you grab all the pieces of the bottles. Like all the bottles floating. I don't think you can access it until you get that. So, yeah. That's the second Easter egg of the game. And now let's go rescue Bess. It's taken long enough. I still can't believe how well I nailed that Hourglass Puzzle. I was really worried that I'd have to cut out, like, a good 45 minutes of gameplay time with that shit. Because I think that is literally like everyone's least favorite puzzle in this game is that garbage. Just because there's no real way to even look up how to do it. You just you have to just have really good timing and hope that you click all of them in exactly the right time that the game wants you to. I'm not sure how lenient it is, like if you can be a second or so off and it'll still give it to you. But I was expecting to sit there for quite a while. Okay. Let's drive out to Sangre Beach and finish this shit. Johnny, I need you.
The people who kidnapped my friend, they want me to leave something with you.
Right.
What is that?
Some kind of treasure map. They intend to take it from you when they're sure the coast is clear.
I don't want it. Get it out of here.
It's not for you, it's for the kidnappers.
Oh no, forget it. I don't want any part of this. I'm in enough trouble as it is.
Look, it's no big deal. All they want is the map. You've got to do this, please.
Oh, crikey. And now that I've done everything you've wanted, I want you to do something for me.
Sure.
Sure. What do you want?
Just watch. Remember me, Nancy?
No, I don't, because you look
Gosh,
nothing like your original
that guy from New
character.
York, the one who threatened the life of Rick Arlen. You're the agent. David. No. Daniel. Darren. Darwin. Derek. Dewey. Dick. Drake.
Dwayne, you idiot! Dwayne Powers!
Sounding nothing like myself from
Dwayne Powers, right.
Stay Tuned for
I thought you went to
Danger.
prison.
I did. For several long years.
Like you attempted to kill
But
several
they were well
people.
spent.
How are you out?
See, one
And
of
how
the
do you
men
look
who worked
younger
at the
than you
Monkey
were in the
Research
previous
Center here Did
game?
volunteer work at the prison after he retired. We got to be friends. Good friends.
Oh, God.
Such good friends that he gave me a book the monkeys had found somewhere here on the island. He was sure it would lead to Cibola, one of the fabled lost cities of gold, but he couldn't decode it, nor could I. And then it hit me. A way to find El Toro's treasure and get back at the teenage snoop who ruined my life.
And apparently
Buried
reversed
El
her
Toro's
age
book on
by
the
about
beach, then
20
lured us
years.
here,
Prison was
kidnapped
very
Bess,
kind
and
to
left me
him.
those directions so I could dig
I
it
just
out,
love it.
decode it, and find the treasure for you.
Like,
And those clues I found suggesting the Gibsons were the kidnappers. You planted them to throw me off track.
Yes! It was all sheer genius!
I like the concept. I just have no idea why they made him so different from his previous incarnation.
No, I didn't.
Well, I was. And as I just proved, I've still got what it takes.
Ah.
You fell for my performance hook, line, and sinker. Not only did I get you to find that map to Cibola, but I had you begging me to take it from you. And I had you believing there were mysterious other people on the island, didn't I? Unfortunately, there's nobody here but me. Heck, I even got you to help undo the damage those infernal monkeys did to my boat. I was brilliant!
All right, so you were brilliant. Now where's Bess?
She's very close, actually. Always has been. Next time, if there is a next time, watch upon whose toes you step, Nancy Drew. Watching where you step wouldn't hurt either.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Just take a step backwards. I give you all the time in the world to get out of that snare trap. Ah, Dwayne.
This is what's known as the end of the line, Nancy. I was hoping to get all three of you down there, but your pal George lucked out. Oh well, gotta be flexible.
This is
No,
actually
wait, stop.
pretty
Come
fucked
on,
up,
Dwayne,
but
let's
it's just
talk.
so
I want to
funny.
hear more. You know, about how smart you are for coming up with such an incredibly clever plan.
Sorry, no time. I've got a tide to catch. Hope you're not afraid of the dark.
Yep.
No, fortunately, I'm not.
Man's got some strength to push that thing, Jesus.
Nancy!
And there's Bess.
Yes!
For
Oh
the
my
first
gosh, I
time
wasn't
in
sure
this
I'd ever
series.
see you again. Are you okay?
Oh man, am I glad to see you. I mean, I'm not happy you got dumped down here too, but I'm real happy I'm not alone anymore. And now that you are down here, I'm really, really happy because I know you'll be able to get us out. And oh my gosh, you found my bracelet. That is so cool. And I sound like an absolute babbling idiot, don't I?
Sort of. Just try to calm down. Are you okay?
No.
Well, I'm
I have a
thirsty.
huge
I'm
gash and my
starving,
left
of
leg
course.
is
And until
missing.
you opened the lid just now, it was getting pretty stuffy in here. But otherwise, I'm fine. And I found a way out. Look. You can open it. Locked doors are your specialty.
Ah. Well, thank God Dwayne didn't strip us of any of our items. Because that would have sucked real hard. What if we didn't have the key?
Can you believe it? For once, I don't want to talk.
Oh, God. And there's El Toro himself. Nice mustache, but a terrible haircut. Nice. Look at these bulls. Okay. So we got symbols everywhere. A whole lot of symbols. Why don't you just grab that sword and stab Bess? Eat her. Oh, God. Am I supposed to do something with these symbols? Should I know them? 'Cause they do seem to be kind of everywhere. Oh, God. This puzzle also sucks. To the one who has entered here, you must now find your way out. 19 choices lie before you. A misstep seals your doom. Aged bronze is green. Iron rusts red. Cutout plates. Uh-huh. So these symbols, do they have anything to do with anything, or are they just etched into the walls? Some of them, like, don't even have... They're, like, not even symbols actually on the... I don't think they actually mean anything. I hope. I hope I don't need to know them for any reason. It's allowing me to access this, and we just need to put the key into the correct hole. Which key was it? God. Now I don't know. Shit. Okay, well, let's see if we can figure this out. If the bottom row has 2 or more cutout plates, then the actual key plate is not round. So does it have 2 or more? I think it does. Yeah, definitely does. Okay, so it's not round. If the 4th column from the left contains a wave pattern, then the key is not in the bottom row. Okay, so it's not in this row. Or no, that's the 5th column. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it could be in the bottom row still. If the key plate has 4 screws, then it is bronze. How am I supposed to know if it has 4 screws? If the plate is bronze and has an empty space directly above it, then it is not the correct key. So it's not round. It could be in the bottom row. Okay, if key plate has 4 screws, then it is bronze. Okay. If the plate is bronze and has an empty space directly above it, then it is not the correct key. So it's not that one. Could be... Okay, so it's not either of those two. If that is in the first row, then the key has 4. It's not in the first row, so it doesn't have 4 screws. If the skull is directly to the left or right of an iron plate, then the key has a cutout. Okay, so the key has a cutout. if the key is a cutout and not bronze, then the cutout plate is round. But you just said it wasn't brown. Well, it wasn't round. So the only cutout it could really realistically be is this one. But which key is it? I have no idea. This game. Cave vein revealed more priceless artifacts. The bad news, you buried under a pile of rubble. Wonderful. Oh, this puzzle sucks too. And it changes on you every single time, which is the other problem. Which key is it? I think it might actually be this key with the 2 irons in it. So maybe that was right. I just used the wrong key. I don't know. No, we'll never know. Okay, so if the bottom has 2 or more cutout plates, and it's not round. It does, so it's not round. In the 4th column contains a wave pattern, and the key is not in the bottom row. It doesn't, so it can be in the bottom row. If the plate has 4 screws, then it is bronze. If that is in the 1st row, then the key has 4 screws. It is. Okay, so it has 4 screws, and it has to be bronze if it has 4 screws. If the plate is bronze and has an empty space directly above it, then it is not correct. So it's not that one. Could be that. No, it can't, because it's directly spaced directly above it. So I don't think it's anything in the bottom row. If the skull is directly to the right or left of an iron plate, it's not. So the key doesn't have a cutout. It has 4 screws, it's bronze, it doesn't have a cutout. And it's not round. Four screws. It doesn't have a cutout. But all of the bronze ones, like that have 4 screws, have an empty space above them. So I don't get it. None of them work. Unless I'm reading this wrong. Like it can't be round because these 2 are cutouts. 4th row doesn't have a wave, so it can still be in this bottom row here. But then it says if it's bronze and has an empty space directly above it, then it is not the correct screw. And if the wave is in the 1st row, then blank has 4 screws, and if it does have 4 screws, then it's bronze. So I don't know which one it can be. Because all of the bronze ones that have 4 screws have a space above them. Does that have 4 screws? But it can't be round, though. So that, like, it makes no sense. None of these apparently work. I don't know. Like right now I see my best options is either the heart or the... Why didn't it work? Do I get 3 shots at it? That would be nice. Oh, okay. What? I literally have no idea. And now it's changed on me again. Okay, so it can be round because there aren't cutouts. the wave pattern isn't in this thing, so I think that means it can be in the bottom. There's a wave pattern, and then blank is not in the bottom row. It doesn't, so it can't be in the bottom. It can still be in the bottom row. The skull is directly next to an iron plate, so I think that means it can't be a cutout, right? Oh, it is a cutout. If the plate has 4 screws, it is bronze. If the wave is in the first... It's not, so I don't think it has 4 screws this time. So it just has 2 screws. If the key is a cutout and not bronze, then the plate is round. How do we know if it isn't bronze, though? It doesn't have 4 screws. It does have a cutout. It can be a circle. Does it have 4 screws? I think it's only 2 screws, right? Yeah, because that's not in the first row, so it has 2 screws. Can't be bronze or something right above it. Can be round, though. Oh, this sucks. Oh, and I think it's a cutout too, isn't it? Because of the skull right beside the iron. Yeah, if skull is directed to, then blank has a cutout. Okay. So it does have a cutout. So 2 screws and it's a cutout. This one maybe? There we go. Finally got it. Woo! God, that puzzle's
Nancy,
You
the
did
worst.
it! Come on, Bess, let's get out of here.
Just the worst. George, you finally made
plane's
yourself
coming.
useful.
George must have gotten the satellite phone to work.
Both you guys
What
are
a
amazing.
coincidence.
George! Hey, George!
Just the worst. They look like ghouls, every one of them.
Not only had George called the float plane company, but she'd contacted the U.S. Coast Guard and the police in Nassau, San Juan, Miami, and Havana. She even called the FBI, but they put her on hold.
Correct.
Anyway, while Bess and George waited for the authorities, I talked the float plane pilot into taking me up so we could search for Dwayne from the air. We soon spotted his boat about 3 miles from shore and radioed it in. But when they boarded the boat, the police found it empty. Was the boat just a decoy? Did Dwayne meet up with someone and make his getaway in a boat I wouldn't recognize? Or did he, while gloating over the map, accidentally fall overboard and drown? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anyone will ever know.
Leaving it open for Dwayne to return in future games.
As for the Gibsons, they'd been at a
Future
week-long
games.
family reunion in North Dakota and were mystified upon their return to find the resort overrun with police, government agents, and reporters.
These
They
guys
didn't have
don't
a
run
clue
the
what had
resort
gone
very
on in their
well.
absence. But they were happy about all the publicity Dwayne's escapade had generated and offered to let Bess, George, and me continue to stay on for a real free vacation. But we all said no, thank you. The only thing that sounded good to any
They
of
all
us
look like
after what we
ghouls.
just
It's
been
terrible.
through was good old boring home.
It's terrible. Serge, I don't know. Madeline Moore. No, I didn't get it. Bat Tracker for identifying flying friends. Chatterbox for constant communication. Down Under Discover for finding the Aussie. Are you... Is that optional? I thought you pretty much had to do that. Maybe you just don't ask him that question ever? I don't know. Easter egg, confidential, Glass half empty, always preparing for disaster. I'm assuming that's refilling your air tank a lot. Golden jackpot for recovering El Toro's personal loot. That must be something to do with the ending, like the ending room. I gotta look that up and see what that is, because I'm not sure what that is. Hi again, everyone. So I said in the credits that I didn't know what El Toro's personal treasure was, and I actually looked it up after, and I thought that it was actually pretty cool. So I figured that I would maybe just show you guys quickly how to get it, because it is a little bit of a process, which is kind of neat. So the first thing you need to look at, it's pretty vague, honestly, is if you flip to the end of his journal page here, you will see that there's the key you get from the Hourglass puzzle, and there's a shape behind the key. And what that is supposed to tell you to do is to find that shape, this one right here, on this lock puzzle, and insert the key in there. And what that's going to do is knock that bull over. So I said, like, I wonder if these symbols have anything to do with anything. They do. They have something to do with his personal treasure. So if you go over here, there's going to be a combo here, and you have to hit these in order of the correct symbols around the room. And how you find those symbols is by relating them to where they appear in the journal. So here's a picture of himself. And it's going to be kind of a weird little squiggle thing. Like almost like a weird 2. There's also one on the bowl. Which is kind of like the breast cancer foundation symbol is what I relate that to. I believe we also have one on this bowl here. It's like kind of a backwards R. Okay. There's one near the suit of armor. It's kind of like an hourglass with a line through it. And I think there's one on this picture as well. Which is a weird squiggly thing. Okay, now is there anything else? Or is that all the symbols? I think that might be all of them. There's nothing back here. Nothing in the pulleys. No. I think that might actually be it. So now what you have to do is go back through his journal, and where you find these images, that's going to tell you the order of the symbols. So that one of himself is the first symbol, that weird little 2. That second picture of the bull is going to be the second symbol, which was that backwards R looking thing. The suit of armor is going to be number 3, which was the hourglass with the line through it. We have the bull hanging from his ropes there. He's going to be number 4. And then the picture hidden behind the wood is going to be number 5. Who that's a picture of, I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be his wife or something. I don't know. Does that look like a woman? Not really. Maybe it's his second command. I don't know. But anyway, now that we have the order, we can press these symbols in that order. So we have 2 first. The second one is going to be the backwards R. Third one's going to be this. Fourth one's going to be this, and the picture is this one. Perfect. Okay, and we get to this little box here, and what you're meant to do is put both keys and turn them both. And I think you're supposed to depress all of these letters so that they all go dark. Damn it. Come on, there's only 4. This shouldn't take very long. Damn it. There we go. Perfect. And there you go. There is El Toro's personal treasure, which is this weird peacock-looking thing. And that is how you get the achievement. So, yeah, just thought I'd show you that really quickly, because it is actually kind of neat. I can't really think of many other games in the series where there's an entire separate kind of puzzle that's totally optional, which is, it's neat. I like it. Guavas, winner of all the prizes, mountain goat, parrot handler, treasure hunter, seeking out the braid medal, tribute tamer. Wonderful.
Something sinister has been set loose
Next
at Waverly
game.
Academy. Someone
Hooray.
known only as the Black Cat is terrorizing students, sending them strange
God, I
notes
think I've been
which are
recording for
always
like 2
followed by
hours.
frightening
I'm
accidents.
gonna cut a lot out
The only
though.
way to unravel the mystery is to go undercover as a transfer student and enter the world of cliques and gossip that rules life
shit.
at this
Secret
exclusive all-girls
cabals.
boarding school. Help me uncover Waverly's centuries-old secrets and avoid becoming the Black Cat's next victim by joining me in my next adventure, Warnings at Waverly Academy.
Nice. Oh god, that's a rough badge. Well, that's Treasure or Ransom of the 7 Ships, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. So, my closing thoughts. This game isn't well liked, and playing through it, it became easier and easier to see why. It's not one of my worst games, like not by a long shot. I think the biggest issue is just the travel time. They could absolutely make this game 100% better if they just added fast travel. Like I said, like once you've been to a location, they should have just given you a map and you could have just clicked on your location and gone there. That's concerning both the cart and the ship, because the cart is slow as balls and the ship, you're constantly going back and forth trying to increase your oxygen tank over and over again. And that just sucks all the fun and excitement out of a lot of these puzzles when you have to constantly be going back and forth, like wasting time that you could spend just figuring out the puzzle, right? I didn't mind the lack of suspects because, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of all the talking a lot of the time anyway. Some people really like it. I'm not a huge fan. I actually like just being able to do like these treasure hunts and just being able to solve out what to do next and to finish the puzzles rather than spend endless time in conversation, which was why I disliked Midnight in Salem so much, because there was so much talking. I like the location in this one. I like the treasure hunt. A couple of the puzzles are absolutely stupid, though. Again, most of them leading to that air tank issue. Sudoku is one of them, where just constantly having to go back and forth between your air tank refill and back to that reef just so you can spend another, 5 minutes looking at that Sudoku to try and figure it out. It's like, oh my god, just kill me, right? Are there bloopers in this one? I guess there are. Yeah, and like that puzzle was so bad to the point I remember the people were actually taking pictures of that thing and figuring it out on their own outside of the underwater segment because of just how frustrating it was to continue going back and forth. Good for you.
Hey, what the? Whoever glued my feet to this thing is in big trouble.
Glue your face to it.
What the heck?
Is it supposed to be a take on Donkey Kong?
Oh, man. The monkeys must have messed up the coin thing. You're supposed to take the coin, guys. If you'd read the script, you'd know that. Sometimes those monkeys can be so lazy.
Sometimes those monkeys can be a real fucking pain in the ass.
Hi, I'm Nancy Drew.
Okay. So yeah, and the other puzzle that is really rough is that Hourglass Puzzle. And, like, I got pretty lucky and got it, like, within a few attempts, but that thing is a major pain in the ass, especially, like, if you have no idea how to do it from the start. It can take you just, like, hours, literally, to try and figure out exactly what second to turn them at. And because a lot of people, like, those red marks on the hourglasses, you're supposed to kind of use those to gauge, like, when you're supposed to, like, flip other ones. But it's so complicated trying to keep track of all those red marks that most people just ended up counting down backwards, which is what I did, and it worked out pretty well. But until people figured that out, like, that puzzle was a real bastard. So there's a lot to talk about with the culprit in this game. It is Dwayne Powers. It's the only time that they've ever actually done this. They've brought back a previous culprit from another game. I guess spoiler territory, but this is already the ending of a video, so I guess if you haven't played Danger by Design yet, this game kind of spoils that for you because he refers to that game in the past. So hopefully anyone who's watching this video has already played not Danger by Design, Stay Tuned for Danger, or doesn't care because the game outright spoils the ending to that one, which I'm guessing is why they might have only decided to do it one time, having a returning culprit, because then it spoils another game in the series for you that people may or may not have played, right? I like the concept. I like it. I understand why they can't really do it because, again, like I said, it would spoil previous games. I just really wish they would have made an effort to make him seem like he was his actual self, because this version of Dwayne, like, looks, sounds, acts nothing like the version of Dwayne from Stay Tuned for Danger. The guy from Stay Tuned for Danger, like, looked like he was in his late 40s, like early 50s, like, had, like, graying temples, like, heavy set, kind of deeper voice. Whereas the guy in this game, like, super thin compared to how he was in Stay Tuned for Danger. He also seems to have de-aged like 20 years because he now looks like mid-30s, maybe mid to late 30s, where the original Dwayne clearly looks like he's a very middle-aged man, and his voice sounds nothing similar. I imagine, like, it probably couldn't get the original actor to do it, but, like, you could have at least made the model a little bit closer. But I don't know. And then the other thing surrounding this is you may or may not have known that this specific game is not sold by Her Interactive anymore. So the only way you can get it is through eBay. I don't think it's sold on any digital marketplaces anymore. And that is because of the issue of blackface. Dealing with this final culprit, because Dwayne is clearly white, but he is pretending to be first a Jamaican guy and then a black English guy, because clearly, or Australian, sorry, not English, because clearly his skin is darker. He's putting on a Jamaican accent at the beginning, which, like, yeah, I mean, looking back, it's not the best look for sure. In a vacuum, I think it's fine. Like, in a vacuum, it's like, okay, you can understand why he's doing it, but if they maybe weren't thinking in the past when they made this, and they probably should have had him imitate somebody, like, that was also white, like, you know, a race of people or a nationality that were also white, because it definitely came back to bite them in the ass. And I understand, like, definitely where they were coming from with this. Like, I'm obviously a white guy, so my opinion on whether this is actually offensive or not doesn't really matter. It, like, you know, it's black people who play these games, and I don't know if they find it offensive, but they're the ones who obviously have the last word on it. Like if they don't like it, if they find it an offensive issue and consider it blackface, which they definitely could have a very good case for, I can definitely see why Her Interactive would just get rid of this game and just not sell it anymore to avoid that negative PR. And unfortunately, like, to get rid of it, there wasn't really any other solution, because like they're not going to go back and re-release the game with like an updated ending that doesn't include that, obviously, because the game is, I think, over 10 years old at this point. So they're not going to do a re-release with an altered ending. So if it was causing issues, if people were complaining about it, I can definitely see why they would decide that the best course of action would be to just stop selling it. Unfortunately for them, fortunately, I mean, I think a lot of people don't really care because, like I said, a lot of people, this is not their favorite game in the series due to the constant traveling, the lack of suspects, and some of the puzzles are downright awful because of that air tank and just how long it takes to get everywhere, that there wasn't much backlash because people don't really care about this game, and it's not really in high demand. Like if they had done this for a popular game, like say like Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake, or as begrudgingly as it pains me to say it, Secret of Shadow Ranch, because that seems to be up there as a bunch of people's favorites, I think you probably would have had a much bigger backlash against it, just because those are much more well-liked games in the community, whereas this one, no one is really broken up that it's not sold anymore, because it was not anyone's really favorite game to begin with. And I mean, if you really want a copy of it, like, you can either go to eBay. They'll probably be a little bit more expensive because obviously they're not being produced anymore. But I'm sure as soon as they announced that this game was getting pulled, that someone had a torrent up where you can download the full game for free. And in this case, where the game has been pulled and you like legally can't get it anywhere anymore except for eBay, where you may have to pay like a very large amount of money, I have no qualms with finding a torrent of it if you really want to experience it. Like if you really want to experience this game, play all of them in the collection, I don't think you would have any trouble finding a download link for this game. As soon as they pulled it, someone probably put one up. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this game. Wouldn't be definitely one of my favorites. I think it's really bogged down by just the constant back and forth travel is my biggest issue with it, and some of the puzzles aren't great either. But I wouldn't consider it the worst game they've ever done. It would be probably somewhere like lower mid-tier for me. The next game, Warnings at Waverly Academy, I actually really remember enjoying quite a bit when I originally played it. It's got a lot of really interesting, really unique characters. I like the story behind it. I like the setting. It's just very different from what they usually do. And it's another kind of treasure hunt thing, which I enjoy those. So I'm looking forward to Warnings at Waverly Academy. I think I will enjoy it more than this one, because even back in the day, I remember not being too impressed with this one. But Warnings I actually liked quite a bit. So, and I think there'll be a lot to riff on in that game too, because like it's an all-girls school, so like there's a ton of drama surrounding like all the different relationships between the characters, and who's cheating on who behind each other's backs and shit. And I think that'll be a really fun game to provide commentary on, because it'll provide lots of riff material. Whereas this one was kind of tough because there's no suspects. There's no one to even get conversation out of aside from Johnny Rolle and the monkeys. Like, there wasn't really much else to talk about. But I think I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take care. I hope you're looking forward to the next game. Bye.